You open your eyes for the very first time again. The room is the color of regret and disinfectant. A clock on the wall ticks backward, which is apparently normal here. The scientists cheer. You're naked, shivering, and, according to your birth certificate, 37 years old. Congratulations, you've just been born retroactively. They tell you you're humanity's great leap forward. You'll fix history, prevent disasters, maybe punch Hitler. You'll be a hero. You ask if there's dental coverage. They say no, but you'll have temporal insurance, which sounds like something sold by a man in a fedora who smells like Paradox. Then someone pushes a big red button, and time folds like cheap origami. Your body dissolves, your stomach inverts, and your entire life flashes before your eyes, except it's not your life, it's everyone's. You see the birth of fire, the extinction of bees, and that one time your neighbor didn't pick up after his dog. You land in the year 1347 in a puddle of plague. The future's gone, the past's trying to kill you, and the timeline's a toddler with scissors. Welcome to the glamorous life of a time traveler. You didn't really have a childhood. You had a prequel. While other kids were learning the alphabet, you were memorizing paradox laws and the side effects of temporal reflux, spoiler, vomiting yourself. Your bedtime stories were history textbooks. Your lullaby was the hum of the chronocore reactor. Your first toy? A broken stopwatch. You named it Dad. Your first word? Again. You grew up in a facility buried somewhere between 2089 and 2097 time, gets fuzzy when your school days are literally out of order. The instructors called you the correction generation. You called them the reason for therapy bills across millennia. They tested your temporal adaptability by dropping you into random moments in history first for 5 minutes, then for 5 years. You once spent an entire semester as a Roman stable boy because someone miscalculated a decimal. By the time they pulled you back, you smelled like horse and Latin. Your classmates disappeared constantly. One moment you'd be arguing about quantum ethics, the next poof they never existed. The teachers said, don't worry, they were reassigned. You later found out reassigned meant accidentally erased. Your only friend was an AI named Echo, who remembered your birthday across timelines and occasionally sent memes from the future. Hang in there, it would say, attaching a cat picture from 2032. You loved that cat. It probably caused 3 wars. By the time you hit temporal puberty, your body didn't know what decade it belonged to. You'd wake up with Victorian slang one morning and 1990s Acme the next. You were a walking history glitch, raised by scientists who thought affection was a variable. Becoming a licensed time traveler requires more paperwork than joining a cult and roughly the same amount of blind faith. Training started with philosophy. If you save someone in the past, do they owe you rent in the future? Then ethics. How many Napoleons are too many? Then mechanics. Don't sneeze near the Renaissance. It's fragile. You learn to navigate history like a drunk tourist, never touch, never change, never make eye contact with your own grandfather. The rules sounded simple, but every lesson ended in a casualty report. Your mentors were veterans of temporal wars, old jittery people who aged sideways. One of them, Captain Nera, told you, the first rule of time travel, you always lose. The question is, when? You wrote it on your wrist. It became your first tattoo. The simulations were brutal. One test forced you to relive the same hour until you made the right decision. You never did. They shut it off after your 431st attempt. Graduation was supposed to be ceremonial. Instead, they dropped you into the middle of World War I to prove your adaptability. You survived, technically, though your sense of smell never forgave you. When you returned, Echo congratulated you. You are now temporally certified. Side effects may include existential crisis, chronic déjà vu, and sudden disappearance. You laughed, but deep down, you already knew you'd been laughing out of order your whole life. Your first official mission was simple: prevent a small-town factory fire in 1964. No wars, no kings, no paradoxes, just a fire. You arrive, do your heroic thing, and save 17 people. Easy win. Until you return home and realize you've accidentally prevented the invention of safety regulations. Half of the future's gone, replaced by something called the Infinite OSHA War. They send you back to fix that. You overcorrect. Now seatbelts strangle people on purpose. Every fix creates 3 more problems. History becomes a hydra you're armed with a butter knife. You start hearing voices from timelines that shouldn't exist. Children born from your mistakes whisper through static radios, calling you father of the unwritten. You try to quit, but the agency reminds you of the clause. Temporal assets are non-refundable. They own your timeline. Your next mission sends you to the far future post-human Earth. It's beautiful and empty. You find a note carved into a black monolith. You were here. The handwriting is yours. You realize you've looped yourself. Every mission you've done was assigned by you. You've been sending yourself to clean up your own mess over and over. The hero, the villain, the janitor of causality all you. You laugh until it hurts. You cry until it loops. You stop aging at 35. Not because you're immortal, but because your cells can't decide which year they belong to. You exist halfway between alive and scheduled maintenance. Sleep becomes optional. Dreams bleed into centuries. You wake up with memories of lives you haven't lived yet, marriages, deaths, inside jokes from people you haven't met. You keep a notebook labeled stuff that's probably real. It's 90% question marks. The agency keeps sending missions. Minor corrections, they call them. You stop asking why. You just go. You're a ghost with a time card. At some point, you run into a younger version of yourself, bright-eyed, naive, still believes in happy endings. He asks for advice. You tell him, don't. He laughs, thinking you're joking. He'll find out. You develop new habits, hoarding souvenirs from dead centuries, watching sunsets you've already seen, screaming into the void for the dopamine. You stop using names. You just call yourself Traveler. Safer that way. Time can't hurt what it can't label. Sometimes you visit your childhood era and watch the younger you play with that broken stopwatch. You want to say something kind, but the words get lost in causality. You leave before you can ruin the moment. Your reflection lags a second behind now. It looks tired, but it keeps showing up. Good for it. Eventually, you find ETA timeline where everything seems perfect. No wars, no famine, no memes about taxes. Humanity thriving, history intact. You think, finally, I fixed it. Then you find the file. A single entry under origin of the timeline. Traveler 01 initiated stabilization sequence. You didn't fix, you created it. Every pane, every loop, every erased friended, all built this place. You're the foundation stone of reality. You try to step out, to let it be. But without you, it collapses. You've become the duct tape of the universe. The paradox holding everything together. Echo pings one last time. You did good, you just shouldn't have. You stand in the center of time, surrounded by infinite versions of yourself. Some laughing, some weeping, some gone quiet. You finally understand what Captain Mirror meant. You always lose just, not always in the same century. You decide to end the loop. You step into the chronocore and set it to 0. For 1 second, everything stops: stars, wars, even clocks. Then the light folds inward. Somewhere, a newborn opens their eyes for the very first time. And a voice whispers, "Welcome, traveler."